It was simply because I'd asked Marcus's childhood sweetheart to apologize after she slapped me 12 times that night, that my private photos spread across the internet for virtually nothing. With a swollen, hidden face, I tried to visit my sick fiancé, but outside his hospital room, I saw them using phone casting to display my private videos. My clip is still more exciting. You can see everything clearly. But, Stella is a popular rising star after all. If she finds out you were behind this private livestream, won't she demand to break off your engagement? My fiancé, Marcus, merely curled his lips indifferently and casually threw out a playing card with my exposed photos on it. What right does she have to bring up an engagement with me? She's just a whore that everyone's already seen and used. Who else would want her besides me? His group of friends exchanged glances, then looked at him fawningly. Marcus is right. How could such a filthy woman become Mrs. Marcus? If we get the chance later, let us have a taste of her too. But, how exactly did Stella provoke you to make you hit her so hard? Hearing this, Marcus's originally nonchalant expression turned to one of disgust. Who told her to deliberately make things difficult for Summer, just because she's a senior in the industry? All she did was slap her 12 times. Summer is just a newcomer in the entertainment industry. I'm only promoting Stella to be a stepping stone for Summer, so how dare she demand an apology from Summer? He angrily slammed the cards down, and my private photos instantly appeared before those people. Faced with that innocent, unaware face, my vision went black. Marcus, but your move was truly brilliant. For a penny, you could watch 10 minutes of Stella's uncensored livestream. It's practically free. For $1, you could watch all night, cheaper than roadside trash. Marcus sneered, his expression icy. A penny is already boosting her value. Does she really think she's a popular rising star in the entertainment industry? If she dares to treat Summer like that, I'll make sure she understands exactly what she is. He leisurely opened his phone and sent a voice message in the group chat. Tonight, we continue. A lollipop could buy you a different pose. First-person perspective, play however you want. Those who want to join, sign up. After speaking, he also bundled and sent the videos from last night. My body trembled, and I almost bit through my lip. No wonder he blindfolded me last night and used every method to torment me. The men in the room were blasting that video on their phones, making all sorts of vulgar comments, and I was almost swallowed by despair. The stinging pain on my lips kept me clinging to a final shred of sanity. I couldn't understand why Marcus, who had pursued me for 3 years, the man who doted on me in public and couldn't bear to see me hurt, would treat me like this. I knew he was extremely possessive of me. Each time, he'd leave all sorts of marks on my body. He also frequently took me to various places to seek thrills, even demanding that I say embarrassing things, which always seemed to excite him. I used to cooperate fully, thinking it was just a couple's intimacy, but I never imagined it was merely his way of humiliating me for the sake of his childhood sweetheart. The comments in the hospital room grew increasingly explicit. I hugged myself tightly, trembling all over. As a popular rising star in the entertainment industry, I had just begun to make a name for myself with my acting, when Marcus pleaded with me to mentor a newcomer. Before that, I had only heard about Marcus's childhood sweetheart, Summer. Marcus cares deeply for Summer. She's been his little shadow since childhood, and she's so cute and considerate. The first time we met, Summer called me Isabel and greeted me, but I later found out she was actually a year older than me. Still, for Marcus's sake, I was willing to guide her a bit. But I never expected that on the first day of filming, she would proactively request to add a slapping scene. The director reminded her she could fake it, but she slapped me 12 times in a row and then shifted the blame onto me. My face was so swollen it was unbearable to look at. Not only did she not apologize, but she cried pitifully as if she were the one who had suffered a great injustice. Seeing that the filming was getting delayed, the director, with a grim face, forcibly demanded that she fake the slaps, and only then was the scene finally completed. Everyone looked at the red, swollen finger marks on my face with concern. I was terribly upset, but all I wanted was an apology. Summer cried terribly, but at Marcus's insistence, who was visiting the set, she apologized to me. I was wrong, I'm very sorry. Yet she acted as if she had suffered a great grievance, retreating into her nanny van. At the time, Marcus simply told me she was spoiled and looked at my facial injuries with concern. I never thought that the very same night I would become the star of a private livestream, simply because he believed I wasn't fit to be compared to his childhood sweetheart. But that morning, he had held my face. Summer is my childhood sweetheart. She's seen it, even my parents have seen it. I hope we can have everyone's blessing. He was the one who said he'd love me for a lifetime, yet he betrayed me without hesitation. It turned out that our 3 years together couldn't outweigh a single tear from his childhood sweetheart. If that's the case, why did he even bother to mess with me? Suddenly, a comment from one of his good friends echoed from the hospital room. If wasn't so fragile, Marcus wouldn't have to seek out other women to relieve himself. Only then did I understand that he wasn't lacking in respect. It was simply that the person he held dear in his heart was never me. My vision kept dimming, and my chest ached terribly. I can't recall how I left the hospital, only remembering how nakedly direct the gazes from all directions felt, as if I'd been stripped naked and thrown out in public. I feared everyone's gaze, terrified that someone would rush up and use my private videos to accuse me of being a whore. Trembling, I dialed Isabel's phone. After our parents passed away, Isabel and I relied on each other. A while ago, the office had an accident, and Isabel had no choice but to go overseas for work, isolated for half a year. For my safety, Isabel deliberately hid our relationship, and today happened to be the day her isolation ended. Isabel instantly answered the phone, and my suppressed sobs immediately threw her into a panic. She kept comforting me over the phone. Isabel, I've made up my mind. I promised to go overseas with you and develop my career there. You've protected me all these years. It's time I did something for you. Our family has many businesses, but most of them are overseas. Originally, after graduation, I was supposed to develop my career overseas with Isabel, but because Marcus said he couldn't bear to see me leave, I pushed all the responsibility onto Isabel. I thought that if I could make it big in the entertainment industry, Isabel would agree to my marriage with Marcus, and we could be together forever. But the truth was, he only saw me as a plaything to pass the time. If he cared about me even a little, he wouldn't have let me fall into such an unrecoverable situation. Fortunately, I could still turn back, even if it meant abandoning everything from my past. I drove to what used to be our love nest. I lived there alone most of the time. Marcus came daily, but only to unleash his frustrations. I lay on the cold floor, letting the chill slowly seep into my limbs. All my strength seemed to drain away, and my vision blurred. Soon, the phone rang. I looked at the familiar number and wearily answered it. "What are you doing?" Hearing's voice. I curled up into a ball. "Nothing." Summer said she felt terrible about what happened last time and wants to apologize to you in person. Get dressed up nicely, I'll take you there. The phone was instantly hung up. I didn't even have time to say no. 10 minutes later, he walked in. Seeing me sitting disheveled on the sofa, he frowned slightly. "Your agent already called me. Those videos must have been secretly filmed. Don't be afraid, I'll handle everything." He pushed me into the bedroom, whispering in my ear. "Everyone will be there tonight, so get yourself ready." Then, he pulled open the closet and started picking out clothes for me. I looked at him through the mirror. "How will you handle it?" I remembered what they said in the hospital room. "Marcus, Stella will definitely find out these videos were secretly filmed. What will you do then?" Before could answer, Summer, who was in the group call, gave her response. "Who told her not to be careful, so she got secretly filmed? Anyway, she's just a small celebrity, it's normal for her to be exposed. Everyone will just say it's because she was too showy and got targeted. And Marcus has always stuck by her side, so she'll definitely be moved to death and will obediently become brother's kept woman, saving her from blocking my path." "Brother, am I right?" Marcus praised her without the slightest hesitation. "Yes, our Summer is the smartest." Just then, someone posted a screenshot of my livestream. In an instant, knowing that watching me only cost a lollipop, I became a universally known whore. I looked at Marcus with disappointment. "Is this your solution?" I buried myself in the blanket, seeking a bit of warmth. "I don't want to see anyone. Please leave." But forcefully pulled back my blanket, his tone filled with disappointment. "Stella, what are you still doing? Summer is kind-hearted. She was afraid you'd do something foolish after finding out about the online situation, so she deliberately set this up. She even wants to formally apologize to you for that incident." His gaze fell on my still swollen face. "She's already made such a concession, you can't be stubborn." No matter how I refused, he dragged me into the car. When we arrived at the private club, I feared everyone's gaze, curling up in the car seat, but he forcibly pulled me out. He held me, seemingly with concern. "You're not the one who did anything wrong, so why are you hiding? You need to bravely face the rumors and gossip, understand?" He wouldn't let me lower my head. He grabbed my arm and led me into a private room in the club. I could feel the gazes of the people in the private club. Those leering gazes, like snakes, crawled over me, coiling tighter and tighter. Female celebrities really do have great figures, too bad she's dressed too conservatively. She looks more exciting in the videos. Her whole body has been seen by everyone, ha ha ha. Last night I even paid extra lollipops to see all her private parts clearly. My body trembled, and cold sweat instantly drenched my back. Marcus pushed me into the room they had reserved. Before I could even catch my breath, I was met with even more direct and disdainful stares. I'm going home. Let me go. But firmly blocked the door, and a pair of cold arms instantly wrapped around my neck, pulling me into a strange embrace. I tried to break free, but I was held down tightly. Marcus's girl is still so good at rubbing up against me, it makes my heart itch. I just want to take you right here and now. I recognized that voice. It was one of Marcus's friends, and the most active one in the group chat, who loved to critique the videos. I struggled to break free from his grip, my back pressed hard against the wall, confronting those pairs of malicious eyes with fear. Summer stood in the crowd, a look of enjoying the show on her face. How can you joke like that with our big star? That's too much. She walked over, grabbed my hand, and threw me towards the crowd. I was instantly surrounded by a group of strange men, my reason slowly consumed by fear. I wanted to run but couldn't find an escape. Marcus, however, merely stood at the door, perfectly at ease. I saw only indifference on his face. He didn't care about my panic or fear. He even took out his phone and took a photo with keen interest. I couldn't imagine that a man who had held me last night, telling me he loved me, could now turn his back on me without a second thought. Summer also stepped into the crowd, completely cutting off my last possibility of escape. Isabel, I'm just a newcomer, so my acting isn't as good as yours, naturally. I know I haven't done well, so I specifically brought my friends to apologize to you with me, okay? But before that, we have a question we'd like to ask you. She fiddled with the remote control in her hand, and the next moment, the large screen in the private room displayed various uncensored screenshots of me. Her eyes held a smile, but her voice carried a cruel innocence. You really weren't careful. How could you let someone post this kind of thing? Or was it voluntary? But you should have considered brother's feelings, right? She feigned understanding and glanced at Marcus. Luckily, I said a lot of good things about you to brother. I don't ask for your thanks, but how about you stay tonight, and we get along well? Her poised demeanor earned praises from everyone, while they circled around me like wolves. Just as I had nowhere to hide, Marcus finally spoke. He looked at Summer, his eyes filled with helplessness. Summer, don't play too hard. You need to rest well tonight, you still have filming tomorrow. Summer smiled, curving her lips, and casually picked up a bottle of red wine nearby. All right then, for brother's sake, as long as Isabel drinks this bottle of wine, we'll stop. Instantly, everyone looked at me with eager anticipation. And just as I said no, Marcus had someone open the bottle. It's just one bottle of wine. You're a senior in the entertainment industry, you're used to this. Just drink it. I stared at him blankly. Since joining the industry, I had never touched alcohol because he was by my side, and I always kept myself clean. But it turned out he had never cared about all my efforts. He only saw me as a plaything, which was why he looked down on me and wantonly humiliated me. His kindness to me was only to make me more obedient. I gave a bitter smile and picked up the bottle of wine. Will it be over if I finish this bottle of wine? Marcus looked at my pale face, then, urged by Summer, hesitated and said, yes. The entire bottle of wine, I poured into my mouth. I forcefully suppressed the urge to vomit, covered my mouth, and walked towards the private room door. But I never expected the dizziness to intensify. Finally, I stumbled and collapsed onto the floor. Only a door separated me from the outside. The next moment, I was dragged back into the crowd by my ankle, to the sound of laughter. This time, my vision seemed shrouded in a mist. The people surrounding me transformed into demonic shadows, wrapping me layer upon layer. A blazing fire ignited within my body. I struggled to maintain a final shred of consciousness, looking with immense shock at Marcus, who was whispering to Summer. You knew there was a substance in the wine? The man who had held me earlier now pulled out his phone, arrogantly pointing it at my face and taking photos. I never expected this drug's effect to be so good, ha ha ha. This drug is rare. After taking it, even the most chaste woman will actively cling to you. Marcus really put a lot of effort into Summer. And you? You thought you had some fame and dared to give Summer attitude? How could Marcus spoil you? It was just a few slaps. It's not like you lost a limb. But now, I'm really looking forward to seeing you beg me. Their mocking laughter turned into whips, lashing me raw. Let's see how long you can last, you little whore. Take off all your clothes, quick. I struggled to hold on to my last bite of sanity, crawling towards Marcus. No, don't do this to me. Let me go. I didn't want to fall completely into hell, but merely stood up, embracing Summer, and looked down at me, cutting off my last escape route. The burning pain made me instinctively tear at my clothes. With a ripping sound, I tore off my clothes. Before being consumed by the burning sensation, I heard Marcus's cold voice. Rein it in a bit, don't let it get out of hand. Understood, Marcus. The drug's effect is incredibly strong. She's doing it all on her own, we didn't touch her. I woke from the nightmare, shivering uncontrollably as I saw myself wearing a hospital gown. Marcus, who was watching by the bed, seemed to be startled by my movement and instinctively grabbed my hand. What's wrong? Is there still something uncomfortable? You really are something. Why did you force yourself to drink a whole bottle of wine when you're allergic to alcohol? Do you know how worried I was about you? At that moment, Summer, who had just walked in, also wiped the smile off her face and came to my bedside. Oh, Stella. That's enough. Brother has been watching over you. I yanked Marcus's hand away and curled up into a ball. All my clothes had been changed, but I remembered how I had torn off the last bits of covering at their command. Marcus's mouth opened and closed, but I couldn't make out what he was saying. After a moment, he sighed softly. I'll go ask the doctor. If you need anything, I'll bring it over later. Long after he and Summer left, I still couldn't move. The chaos of last night lingered in my mind, tormenting me, constantly reminding me of what had happened. At that moment, my phone vibrated frantically. I searched wildly barefoot and finally found my phone in the trash can, along with the few tattered pieces of my underwear. Videos were spreading like wildfire online. In the videos, I was frantically tearing off my clothes, following others' commands to perform unspeakable actions, my EYes hazy and vacant. Even if these things disappeared instantly, many people had witnessed my humiliation. They even created numerous groups just to share my videos for free. In an instant, years of my hard work were utterly destroyed. All my social media accounts had been overrun by furious fans and those who had seen my videos. From innocent starlet to degenerate. Playing so twisted, I love it. Gangbang trends, guess I'm not the only one. Whore, Neil. Feeling good, huh? I merely glanced at it, then dropped my phone in fright. No, the person they were talking about wasn't me at all. Rushing out of the hospital, I wore a large face mask, not daring to look up at anyone. My shoes were lost somewhere, and by the time I got home, my feet were bleeding from cuts. I dug out my old phone and called Isabel. On the other end, Isabel was already frantic. Isabel, are all the procedures done? I miss you so much. I really couldn't stay a day longer. Isabel suppressed her sorrow. She had been silently following me, so she must have seen all the news. I had been stripped of all my dignity by those people. I had no privacy left. They relentlessly attacked and cursed everything about me, pushing me completely into the abyss. Don't be afraid, Stella. Isabel has taken care of everything. No one will hurt you again. Before I left, Marcus finally remembered this phone number of mine. But I didn't answer any of his calls, turning and boarding the plane. So I didn't know that after I left, Marcus searched frantically for any trace of me. Marcus stood in my hospital room, his face grim, clutching his unanswered phone. And in the private room last night, everyone who had cooperated with Summer to insult me was now kneeling on the floor, enduring Marcus's thunderous rage. Marcus, Marcus! It seems something big has happened. The man who had tormented me the most earlier was pale-faced, covered in sweat. Marcus, Marcus, I know I was wrong. But I didn't know the drug's effect was so strong last night. I thought she'd wake up and forget what happened, thinking she was just drunk. Who knew she seems to remember everything? After arriving overseas, Isabel scrubbed all my personal information. She even stayed up all night with people at the airport, clearing out anyone who might recognize me, and the moment the plane landed, she hugged me tightly. I finally felt the warmth of a family member. Isabel, I missed you so much. My tears fell silently. Though I knew Isabel knew everything, I still couldn't bring myself to tell her about the hurt and humiliation I had suffered. Isabel didn't press me. Instead, she continuously stroked my head, comforting me softly. Forget all that. Isabel will always be with you. Isabel took me home. It was then I learned that Isabel had used all our assets back in the States to settle everything for me. From then on, there would be no more news about me online, and even the groups that spread my videos and screenshots were disbanded. No one would ever mock or humiliate me with those things again. But because of my celebrity status, this incident still caused a huge stir. Authorities also stepped in, implicitly reminding everyone that I was the innocent party in this situation. Marcus was also somewhat implicated because of this. But now, he couldn't care less about anything but desperately finding me. Only, Marcus and I were done. Humph. Daring to hurt my sister like that, killing him would be too good for him. Isabel looked at me, her eyes asking for my opinion. I took a deep breath. Isabel, those who make mistakes should be punished. After leaving that environment, my ears were finally free from the barrage of disgusting insults. I just didn't expect to wake up with a high fever the next day. It took half a month for me to fully regain consciousness, but when I opened my eyes, besides Isabel, a tall, handsome man was also silently watching over me. When he saw me, his eyes lit up. Your sister should be fine now, Ms. Isabel. Take good care of her. Isabel smiled and nodded, thanking him. I rubbed my forehead, feeling like my mind was empty, something still hazy, but said forgetting was a good thing, so after I recovered and was discharged, I became Isabel's little shadow again, diligently learning how to manage the family business. Soon, I became a shining new star in the business world, but whenever Isabel dealt with news coming from back in the States, she would thoughtfully ask if I felt sad. Each time, I would just shrug and continue to work hard with Isabel. I had indeed lost some memories, but I only remembered loving a jerk, nothing else remained. Leo, as the young master of a partner company, always promised Isabel he would protect me. I then learned that when I had a fever, I had wandered out of the hospital in a daze, and he was the one who found me and brought me back to my hospital room. For this, Isabel was very grateful to him and proactively deepened the cooperation between our two companies. Through his relentless pursuit, our relationship also became very close. Lost in thought again? Is this cooperation proposal really that difficult? I looked up and saw a radiant smile. He teased me, then efficiently resolved the cooperation plan. I shook my head, discarding those subtle worries, and busied myself with him. Perhaps it was because the company recently started cooperating with partners back in the States, so I often recalled those hazy memories from before. Fortunately, Leo was always there to pull my attention back in time. But I never expected to see Marcus again. Leo and I had just walked out of a partner company, intensely discussing the profits of a proposal. Leo always said I was Isabel's spitting image, that not a single penny could escape my grasp, but we both enjoyed it immensely. Stella, is that you? His tired voice held both surprise and hesitation. I looked up at the man in front of me but didn't recognize him. He looked at me excitedly, a little flustered, wanting to reach out and grab my hand, but Leo blocked him. Stella, it's so good that you're okay. Do you know how much I missed you? I was wrong before, I'm willing to change. Please give me a chance, okay? He desperately reached out his hand to me. However, my gaze fell on the displeased woman behind him. I don't know you. Please move. You're blocking the way. Perhaps my attitude was too indifferent, as Marcus stared at me in astonishment. How can you not know me? I'm Marcus, the man you loved most. He pleaded desperately. Stella, I was wrong about what happened back then. I accept that you're angry with me and ignoring me. But later, I truly didn't mean for them to hurt you. Please, forgive me, okay? Seeing him so humble, Summer's eyes turned red with anger, and she cried, accusing me. Stella, what more do you want? You were the one who deliberately made things difficult for me in the first place. So what if I slapped you a few times? If you can't handle a little roughhousing, why be a star? If it weren't for brother investing in you, you wouldn't make it anywhere in this lifetime. I merely gave her a fleeting glance. Marcus roared at Summer like a furious beast. I brought you here for you to apologize to Stella. Summer instinctively reached out to grab his hand, but he pushed her to the ground. Marcus eagerly explained to me. Stella, please give me another chance. I'll definitely change. I looked at the man before me. After a long moment, I merely responded coldly. You're not worthy. That bottle of wine, I'll never forget it. Hearing my words, not only Marcus but also Leo's expression shifted in shock, looking at me in disbelief. Eventually, the two were chased away by bodyguards. Leo, who was watching the car, looked at me several times. I pushed his head back. Focus on driving. I don't want to get into an accident. Leo immediately obeyed, but still asked anxiously, Didn't you say you'd forgotten everything? Or did you fool me and your sister too? I thought for a moment. I had forgotten, but recently, constantly encountering news from back in the States brought everything back. I know Isabel always wanted me to forget the past and start fresh, so can you help me with this? Leo nodded emphatically without hesitation. I didn't care about Marcus's appearance at all, as I had no connection to him anymore. but persistence surpassed my imagination. Every time I walked out of the office, I could feel a scorching gaze fixed on me. When I went out to discuss cooperation, he would wait by my car. When I attended a banquet, he would sneak into the banquet hall and watch me from a corner. Even when he was pursuing me initially, I hadn't seen him so eager and proactive. This felt like a stranger to me. Finally, he cornered me in the hotel hallway. "Stella, is it because of that man that you're so heartless towards me?" He stared at me with desperate grief, then turned and glared fiercely at Leo. I hugged my arms, feeling utterly annoyed. "Marcus, you're truly being pathetic. You know perfectly well why we ended up like this." Marcus punched the wall, gritting his teeth. "That's also because you provoked Summer first. I was just trying to ease the tension between you two, and besides, I eventually made them stop. So I should thank you for showing me mercy?" I couldn't control myself, my eyes reddened. "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have had everything I worked so hard for destroyed." In my midnight dreams, I still trembled from the indelible memories of that night. They made me lie on the floor, made me perform all sorts of humiliating poses as they filmed me up close, to be toyed with like a dog. Even if it didn't go all the way, what difference did it make? If it weren't for you, would that have happened to me? Fine, if you think it's nothing, then you drink the drug, and let countless men critique and comment on you wantonly humiliate you. The anger on Marcus's face froze. He opened his mouth but couldn't utter a single word of defense. "I know what I did was wrong, but we were together for 3 years after all. Do you truly not care about our past at all?" I merely curled my lips mockingly. "You're the one who destroyed everything. I just don't want to suffer that kind of harm again. Your childhood sweetheart and your good friends, if not for your indulgence, would they have dared to treat me like that?" He seemed to feel a bit guilty for my questioning and turned his head away. "I know they went too far, so that's why I agreed to let her come with me to apologize to you." Too late. I walked around him, leaving without looking back. Leo had wanted to punch him, but I stopped him, because he wasn't worth it. Marcus still harbored false hopes, thinking I would side with him, but Leo punched him without hesitation. I merely gave him a fleeting glance. He deserved it. Marcus was no match for Leo. He could only beg for my forgiveness. Summer once saved my life, so I just wanted to repay her. Summer became physically weak because of him, so Marcus was accustomed to giving her the best of everything. But because Summer couldn't have children, Marcus felt even more indebted to her, so he would fulfill any request she made. However, he also knew that Marcus's family would never accept a wife who couldn't have children. Therefore, their relationship could only remain that of childhood sweethearts. During the 3 years I was with you, I had already drawn a clear line with her, treating her only as a casual friend. She wanted to enter the entertainment industry. I didn't trust others, so I asked you to mentor her. She's timid and it was her first time acting. Why did you demand so much from her and publicly humiliate her? She must have been heartbroken. Summer is too fragile. If I didn't stand up for her, she would probably get sick again. And that drug was only suppo. Said to make you feel like you were drunk, as if you'd just had a dream. I never expected them to leak the videos. They truly made a mistake in this matter, but your sister has already gotten revenge for you, and I know I was wrong too. Stella, can we start over? He looked at me expectantly, as if by simply admitting his mistake, I would immediately forgive him. Wishful thinking. You don't know how much I regretted losing you the moment I realized it. His eyes reddened, as if he was genuinely in agonizing pain. In fact, he regretted it the moment he realized I had run away. He searched everywhere but couldn't find any trace of me, and after realizing I hadn't taken anything, he thought I'd eventually come back. It wasn't until he received a call from the hospital saying someone had found my phone. Only then did he realize how much pressure I had been under after everything happened. I was wrong, I was truly wrong. His eyes were bloodshot as he looked at the blatant insults. He ordered everyone to track down the information of those who hurt me, at any cost. He hadn't expected that right then. All information about me online vanished without a trace, and both he and a group of people from that night were arrested by the police. It took a great deal of effort for him to get off the hook. Feeling terrible for what he had done to me, he resolved to apologize to me in person, no matter what. Only after losing me did he realize he had already fallen in love with me. I had only suffered a bit of hardship, but if it led to a happy ending for everyone, wasn't that a good thing? I truly didn't expect them to treat you like that. They had originally agreed just to scare me a little, but after watching those videos, he realized they had nearly gone all the way. He felt I was his woman, and for that group to dare treat me like that, in a fit of rage, he disregarded everyone else. However, Summer was in poor health, so he made an exception for her. Stella, if only why? Oh, you can forgive me, I'll send her away, and she'll never appear before you again. He begged tearfully, but I just looked at him coldly. For a penny, you could watch 10 minutes of Stella's uncensored livestream. Who else but you could have made that happen? He looked at me in shock, his hands trembling. I didn't think. It's all my fault, I'm sorry, Stella, I'm sorry. After that day, Marcus was dragged away by Leo's people and sent back to the States. Several years passed, and there was no news of Marcus. Meanwhile, I grew up by Isabel's side, learning to handle things independently. This time, returning to the States was both to visit my parents' graves and to develop our industries in the States. But unexpectedly, the moment I got off the airport, I stumbled upon a local news report. Suspect was killed on the spot while fleeing after committing murder. Apparently, after Marcus returned to the States, to seek my forgiveness, he retaliated against everyone. Even was exposed with various scandals by him and couldn't recover. During their argument, he discovered Summer had been lying to him all along. Unable to accept it, he killed her. I looked at the warm sun in the sky. Everything was in the past. Thanks for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. See you next time.